There's a kind of power that most people never understand, a quiet strength that does not shout, does not demand, does not fight. And yet, it moves mountains, it changes minds, it shifts the course of lives. Most people think influence comes from force, from argument, from overpowering someone with facts or fear. They believe that to win a person's heart or mind, you must dominate, control, or outfight them. But history whispers a different truth. Influence is not won with the clash of wills. It is earned with calm, patient mastery of connection. Think of Abraham Lincoln standing in the shadow of a nation divided, facing enemies who sneered at him, underestimated him, mocked him, threatened to unravel everything he had built. He did not confront them with anger. He did not raise his voice in battle. Instead, he listened. He understood. He appealed to what was best in people rather than what was worst. His victories did not come from sheer strength. They came from understanding human nature and using it wisely. Every word, every pause, every measured gesture became a tool, a bridge, a key to unlock cooperation. That is the quiet power of influence. Imagine the difference it makes in your own life. Most conflicts arise, not from genuine disagreement, but from pride, from fear, from the desire to be right, to prove oneself. People do not resist ideas. They resist feeling attacked, dismissed, or diminished. You can be brilliant. You can have irrefutable logic, but if you approach someone from a place of aggression, you will meet resistance, and resistance is stronger than reason. That is why Dale Carnegie taught that the moment you criticize, condemn, or complain, you awaken the strongest instincts in a human being. Not understanding, not openness, but defense and defiance. The first step to influence is mastery over yourself. Self-confidence is not loud. It is not the need to prove. It is the absence of fear, the absence of desperation. A confident person speaks not to overpower, but to convey truth with calm authority. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he succeeded with the light bulb. He did not fight the world for recognition or shout at his failures. He reframed them. He observed. He learned. "I have not failed," he said. "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset, calm, resilient, patient, is the same mindset that wins people. It disarms fear and invites cooperation. It makes others feel safe, and safety is the soil in which influence grows. Think of your everyday interactions. How often do arguments spiral, even when both sides have the same ultimate goal? The reason is simple. People are emotional, not logical. Human beings justify with logic, but they act with emotion first. If you can reach the emotion, you will reach the mind. Influence grows when people feel understood, respected, and valued. Criticism closes doors. Encouragement opens them. Praise motivates. Empathy persuades. Leadership without understanding is a hollow gesture. Leadership rooted in connection creates loyalty, commitment, and trust that lasts. Franklin D. Roosevelt understood this when he addressed a nation paralyzed by fear during the Great Depression. He did not shout optimism. He did not deny the reality of suffering. He spoke to acknowledge it and then to guide his people through it. "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself," he said. That statement did not fight fear. It reframed it. It invited people to join him in courage, to take the first step together. Influence works this way. It does not attack. It guides. It inspires. It leaves people willing rather than coerced. And this is not weakness. It is not surrender. It is mastery, the mastery to pause before reacting, to ask before condemning, to seek understanding before asserting dominance. Every interaction is a choice. One path leads to confrontation. The other leads to connection, and the choice is yours every time. When you speak to win a point, you may lose a person. When you speak to connect, you create allies. Allies who will stand by you when circumstances are difficult, who will listen when others turn away, who will follow when leadership is needed. Influence without fighting is not passive. It is strategic, powerful, and transformative. Even in the smallest moments, this principle matters. A disagreement with a colleague, a tense family discussion, a negotiation with a client. These are not trivial. They are training grounds for the soul, opportunities to exercise the quiet power of influence. Each time you resist the urge to attack, each time you choose empathy over ego, you grow stronger. You demonstrate a control over your own emotions that others cannot help but notice. And in noticing, they are drawn to you. You are not forcing agreement. You are cultivating respect. The world rewards those who can navigate conflict without creating more. It favors those who can disarm tension with patience, who can calm storms with understanding. Dale Carnegie wrote that you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar, but he meant more than metaphor. He meant that the energy you bring into a room, the tone, the warmth, the attention, creates influence. You cannot compel the heart with force. You can only earn it with care, presence, and skill. Every leader, every innovator, every person who has changed the world has understood this instinctively. They won people not by shouting, not by insisting, not by making others feel small. They won people by listening, by framing ideas in ways others could accept, by appealing to what was already good inside them. Influence is not domination. It is alignment. It is harmony between intention and reception. And that harmony is quiet, subtle, but unstoppable. Influence begins in silence, in the space between words, in the moments when you resist the urge to argue and instead choose to understand. Consider the power of listening, not waiting for your turn to speak, not preparing your counter, but truly hearing someone's fears, hopes, and perspectives. That simple act, often overlooked, is one of the most potent forms of persuasion. When a person feels understood, their walls begin to fall. They are no longer adversaries. They are participants, collaborators in a shared space of trust. This is how quiet authority is born. It does not demand attention. It earns it. Empathy is not weakness. It is strategic brilliance disguised as kindness. When you enter a conversation with the intention to grasp the other person's reality, you gain insight that no argument, no debate, no lecture could provide. Think of leaders like Carnegie himself, who saw human desires, insecurities, and motivations not as obstacles, but as guides for connection. Franklin Roosevelt understood the pulse of a worried nation. Lincoln understood the fears of divided Americans. They did not fight against people. They worked with the human heart, and in doing so, they achieved what others could not. Confidence is inseparable from this process. True confidence does not boast or intimidate. It does not rush to be right or win the moment. It speaks with calm assurance because it has already anchored itself in knowledge, preparation, and understanding. People are drawn to this confidence because it is contagious. It reassures, it stabilizes, it inspires trust. The more you embody this, the less you need to argue, the less you need to push. Influence becomes natural because you operate from alignment rather than aggression. Even in daily life, the principle holds. A disagreement with a friend, a negotiation with a colleague, a delicate conversation with a family member. Every interaction is a battlefield of perception. Those who wield influence without fighting recognize that conflict is not solved through dominance, but through connection. They ask questions that invite dialogue instead of confrontation. They frame ideas in ways that resonate with values already held by others. They appeal to pride without inflating ego, to reason without insulting intelligence, to emotion without manipulation. And in doing so, they leave the other person feeling empowered, respected, and willing to follow, not because they were forced, but because they were seen, or resilience is the next pillar. You will face resistance, rejection, and misunderstanding. You will encounter people who are defensive, hostile, or closed off. But the master of influence does not react with anger or despair. They absorb, they adapt, they persist with patience. Just as Edison persisted through failure and Lincoln persisted through ridicule, the quiet influencer persists through opposition. They do not battle their environment. They shape it, one conversation at a time, with strategic calm and unwavering presence. This is the quiet power of influence, the ability to win people not by force, but by connection, not by domination, but by empathy, not by argument, but by presence. It is subtle, patient, and relentless in its effect. And when you begin to wield it, the world begins to respond differently. People listen, people align, people follow, not because they have no choice, but because they choose to.